Hello, my name is Bruce Phillips and I am the founder and president of Electrical Prefab Systems. First, I would like to thank you on behalf of our entire organization for taking the time to watch this instructional video. I will review the following subject matter: how product arrives at the job site, our recommendations for laying out the system using Electrical Prefab Systems' proprietary wall label system, an explanation of the information contained on the system drawings and labels, the features and benefits of Electrical Prefab Systems' proprietary and protected products, and lastly, the recommended installation methods for our unique products. Our product arrives, as shown here, palletized and rigidly strapped to ensure product arrives safely and undamaged to your job site. On the end panel of each carton, there is a clear envelope that contains the system layout drawings and the wall labels. I will describe each of these in more detail later. Each unit or area type will include one of these drawings. So even if there are 50 identical area types, we will include 50 system drawings. Please remember though that some larger areas may require more than one carton. In that case, only one envelope will be attached for the multiple cartons required for that large unit type. On the side panel of each carton, a label is attached that identifies the unit or area type where the product is to be installed. This information is duplicated on the system installation drawing and is visible through the clear envelope. Please remember, for larger areas there may be multiple cartons, but these will be clearly marked. For example, 1 of 3, 2 of 3, etc. The first step in installing the system is to remove the system installation drawings and wall labels from the clear envelope. Used together, this system of marking assembly locations has proven itself to significantly reduce layout time and reduce overall labor costs. The system installation drawing numerically identifies the location of each assembly contained in the carton, and which of course will be installed on the project. The wall labels contain 3 pieces of data: start location, also known as assembly number; connect to, which is the assembly number where the opposite end of the MC cable will connect to; mounting height, which of course is the mounting height to center line of the assembly. So the first step is to affix all the wall labels to their proper position and height in conjunction with the positions identified on the system layout drawings. We suggest that your company assign a lead man to this task and attach all wall labels well before your company's other team members begin installing product. Most often, our system may be installed using just the information that appears on the labels that are attached to the assemblies. Generally speaking, the system drawing is typically used only to identify assembly locations on the floor plan. Nevertheless, it is helpful to understand what each field of information means and how it relates to and is used in conjunction with the assembly labeling system. Keep in mind that all the information that appears on the assembly label also appears on the system drawing. I will explain what the major data fields mean and how they interrelate between the system drawing, assembly label, and wall labels. The file sequence number has no relevance to the actual installation of the system products. This information is used only as a record locator. You may want to use this file number if you ever have to communicate with the Electrical Prefab Systems project engineer that is managing your project. The number appears on the system drawing and on the assembly labels. The device start number is the numerical identification number of the assembly. This number appears on the system drawing to identify its placement on the floor plan. And of course, this number also appears on both the label attached to the assembly, or on a whip only, and on the wall labels. The Connect To data is obviously self-explanatory. This is where the opposite end of the MC cable is to be run to and splices to be made as required. A BO means there is no connection point and therefore no MC cable will be provided. See file number 1 in this table as an example. SSO, file number 5, for example, means that this is a special systems only device and therefore Electrical Prefab Systems has furnished no MC cable. The assembly catalog number has no relevance, and nor is it important to understand this information to efficiently and correctly install the system. Electrical Prefab Systems engineers and fabricates each and every assembly per its specific installation criteria. The data contained here provides our fabrication facility with the information needed to properly manufacture the assemblies. For 2-hour firewall locations, Electrical Prefab Systems will furnish putty pads as required. An X will appear on the system layout drawing and on the box marked FP on the assembly label. Our fabrication facility will place a red label on the face of the assembly to identify that this assembly requires a putty pad. If the assembly includes an open back box, then simply install the pad just prior to securing the rear blank plate. If the junction box is a standard box, then the assembly will be shipped with the pad pre-installed. Both the system drawings and labels show the MC cable size and type and the length of the cable that is attached to the assembly. Electrical Prefab Systems has perfected the means and methods to ensure that engineered cable lengths are statistically correct in over 98% of all installations. This length includes the approximately 16 inches of conductors on the stripped back portion of the cable. As we all recognize, changes on a job site are not uncommon, and the installer may need a new cable or request that future shipments of like units have a cable length adjusted. So this information is helpful to the installer as it provides a baseline if a cable length ever needs revision. I want to stress that if you need a replacement cable for any reason, including shipping or accidental damage, or if it needs to be a different length than what we shipped, then please call your project engineer and we will fly you out a replacement cable immediately at no charge. The project engineer will determine the easiest and shortest path to install the MC cable. However, sometimes there may be obstructions such as windows or structural considerations. So, it is helpful for the field installer to understand the cable routing that the project engineer had in mind at the time of engineering. Simply, IW means in the wall and OH means overhead. The mounting height shown on the table, assembly label, and on the wall labels are always engineered to the center of the wiring devices or light fixtures. It is helpful to mount the arrows shown on the wall labels to this mounting height to eliminate the need for the field installer to measure again. As a helpful suggestion, please consider marking either the left or the right arrow on the wall labels to indicate which side of the stud the assembly should be installed. This reduces confusion and speeds installation. Finally, the system drawings and assembly labels include the circuit number for the wiring devices and light fixtures. Please remember, Electrical Prefab Systems has identified this information based on the panel schedules in our possession at the time of engineering. As we all know, circuiting may change on a project, so we ask you to verify the correct panels and circuit numbers. We have attached all the wall labels on the framing members at the locations identified on the system layout drawings. As a suggestion, we recommend that when attaching the wall labels to the studs, that either the right or left side of the label be marked to identify which stud cavity the assembly is to be installed in. Next, we recommend that you have an apprentice-level team member unload the assemblies from the carton and place them in close proximity to the wall label location. Each assembly, or whip only, a term we use for an MC cable that is not attached to an assembly, comes with a large label that identifies its corresponding position and connection points on the system layout drawing. As you can see, we have emptied the carton and placed the assemblies and whip onlys in proximity to their wall label locations. Before continuing with the demonstration, I would like to remind you that all accessory items required to complete the installation are in the carton. These accessories include blank plates for our proprietary open back boxes, MC connectors for the free end of the MC cables, flat straps for the use with the kickstand and direct mount brackets, and box inserts for 2-hour firewall locations.